Okay, I see Dorothy is here. I'm sorry, guys, for being just a couple minutes behind. I'm Sandy Freshy. For anyone who is joining now and has never been here, or for anyone who is going to be joining us in the future. So today we are going to spend some time with our higher selves. And before I get started, I just want to make sure that you can hear me okay. And Dorothy, if you're have access to the comments, if you wouldn't mind just letting me know how the sound is, I'd love to get that feedback. Yay! Hi, Evolving Butterfly. Love that name. Good to see you. Good. Thank you. Welcome. And anyone else who wants to chime in, let me know you're here. Yay. Good. So you can hear me. Yeah. So today we are going to spend some time with our higher selves. And I'm so excited about this because I've just sort of been tapping into my own higher self today. And I'm really excited because I've been just getting some guidance around taking you through an exercise that can help you to get in touch with your own higher self. Hi, Joe. It's good to see you. Hello, everybody. Yes. So we're going to go ahead and open the space like we usually do, starting to get into a routine now. And I'm really enjoying those of you who are able to come live and join me in my new Friday routine. So let's go ahead and open our space. So go ahead and breathe into your heart center. And let's just settle into our focus right here, right now. And as you make space inside your heart to receive what it is that you need to receive today, and as you relax your body, just allow the energy of your heart space to just sort of trickle down like a cord through your body. And of course, we're using imagination here because imagination and thoughts are actually the groundwork for our manifestations. So just intend and imagine that your heart energy is creating a cord moving down through your body, out your root, out your legs, out your feet, and into the center of the heart of Mother Earth. So you are nice and grounded. And from there, allow yourself to receive the support of the earth through your feet, through your root, all the way up through to your heart again. And then send all of that energy up through your chest, your neck, your skull, out the top of your head, and all the way up as far as your human consciousness can imagine. And right up there at the edge of your human consciousness is a skylight, a window that opens. This is in my mind's view. You may see it a little different. And this is the place where you open yourself up to source energy and divine light. So allow the window to open so that divine light can come in as a cord down through your crown, through your head and neck, into your chest, filling up your heart space. And then it moves down through the cord that you initially dropped and communes with Mother Earth. So as we're sitting here, all grounded and ready to go, all grounded and expanded, let's go ahead and set the energetic space for our meeting today. And again, I'm seeing, as I have in past, the directions of our tent pegs of the east, the west, the south, and the north. And then we're creating almost like a teepee or a tent or a yurt or however you see it. And I kind of see it as circular. And here we are in the circle inside. And we invite in the energy of our higher self, our higher self presences, our ancestors are around the outside. They all have little chairs around the outside wall. They're on the inside, but they're against the wall as witnesses to the evolution and the movement forward forward for lack of a nonlinear word, for how we are to expand together today. And as we have opened ourselves up, we are now consciously inviting in the light of divine source, our spiritual guides and helpers, and our teams of healers and representatives who are ambassadors of source to us, and who work through us. Okay. Yay. Welcome, everyone. All right. Let's see. Did I miss anything? Well, we're talking about the higher self today. Who is the higher self? And how do we get in touch with the higher self? And I'd love to know what your questions are about the higher self. So if you want to go ahead and put those in the comments boxes, or in the comments box, or if you want to put in your insights and your experiences in the comments box, I would love to hear and see that as well. Now, I do want to let you know before we get started that this is actually sort of an introduction to what we will be covering in the Activate Your Healing Powers workshop that is going to be in 2 parts, starting on November 6th and then again on November 13th. And I think I've left a link in the description box, and if not, I will. There is I actually need to change that link, because if you sign up by noon Eastern on October 31st, you do get a 20% discount on that, but I had a little technical difficulty. So I had to change the sign up page for that particular discount. So if you're waiting for that, you're looking for it, you clicked on it and you can't figure out how to do it, it's not your fault. It's my issue with technology. And but this is like what we're going to really go into depth about in that second part of the workshop. The first part is all about the body, preparing the body, understanding and learning about the energy bodies. We'll probably do a lot with the chakras, and kind of weave that into some sort of conceptual framework that has to do with human design. I'm not making any promises on that, because I have agreed to be the channel for this workshop. So it will depend on who shows up as to what actually in detail happens. But in general, that's kind of where I think we're going. So the second part is going to be about getting in touch with your higher self and really being able to do healing work, or from the perspective of your higher self. So that's why I wanted to talk about who the higher self is today. And there are many different spiritual traditions that talk about the higher self, and you can get into the technology of what dimension is the higher self in, and where is it, and what does it do for you, and all of this stuff. So I'm going to try to make it very, very simple today. My definition of the higher self has a lot to do with consciousness and where your consciousness is. So I see the higher self as a stream of consciousness that is kind of like your conduit, or your ambassador, or your translator of your soul what your soul knows, the eternal part of you knows and understands and experiences, and it's also your connection to divine source. So when we did the centering at the beginning of this live stream, part of what we were doing was connecting to that aspect of our consciousness that is what I would define as the higher self. So we're all connected to our higher selves at this point on different levels. Now, how you experience that could vary depending on where you are in your body, how open your body is, and we're going to weave this back into how you as a human are sort of designed to experience your higher self. So yeah, so the translator, the connection, the translator of our soul consciousness, the translator of God consciousness, the connection to source. So how do you know when you are living or seeing through the eyes of your higher self? This is really key and really important because I'm guessing, seeing who's on this live stream, and I think I know all of you, uh, and I, and I know kind of where you are with your soul consciousness and all of that. I'm guessing that you can probably sense when you're operating from your soul consciousness perspective, from your higher self perspective versus your the maybe the lower dimensional aspects of your human perspective. So, but if you're not really aware of that, if you're not really aware of, how do I know when I'm seeing through the eyes of my higher self, and what's the difference between that and my, my human self perspective? The way that I experience my higher self is that it's as though I get into a place where my perspective is very objective, but not objective in a cold kind of way, like not in that necessarily that pure logical, if this therefore that, even though I do read energy very logically in that way. There's like this objectivity where there's a broader perspective where there's no black and white, no right or wrong. Maybe I can even feel into and see and understand maybe what another person is going through, or where my own uh what my own the source of my own motivation is for the thing that I'm experiencing. And for me, that translates a lot into really being able to have those insights about, oh, this is about this isn't even something that originated in this life. It was something that originated in another life. And sometimes for me, I'll have those insights and those flashes around what might have been the storyline and the choice that I made in those other experiences from other incarnations that are currently influencing the choices that I'm making now and the situations that I'm in and the circumstances that I'm in. So there's this like a broad perspective, knowing, understanding, seeing that comes with seeing or working through your higher self. Being connected to your higher self. I'd love to know, by the way, how you experience your higher self in that sense. Sometimes the higher self kind of speaks through flashes of insight, like, oh my goodness, I've never seen it before like that. Sometimes the higher self can even speak, depending on what your intuitive where you're tuned in intuitively on your radio dial of intuition. Sometimes it can be like seeing auras, seeing colors, seeing things that are that you don't normally see, like seeing beyond the physical. And I guess we could use that as a metaphor, right? That when you're operating from your higher self, when you're really in touch with your higher self, it there can be this heightened sense of intuitive or psychic ability that you don't necessarily have access to in everyday life. And I'll give you an example of this. Um, I don't normally, even when I'm working with my own intuitive gifts, one of my gifts is not, it is sort of clairvoyance, but it's not the clairvoyance that, I can see in my mind's eye. Most of us who have clairvoyance can see in the mind's eye and see the symbolism, see those kinds of things, see visual images and those kinds of things. But I don't see the things that certain people see around, like colors and auras and chakras, as like actual physical things that or things that are out here. But there was a time in my life when I was actually grooming horses and working on a horse farm for fun and to kind of alleviate some burnout from what I was doing in my massage practice. And one of the things that I would do, there was a donkey on that farm, and he had been neglected for a while when the current owner that I knew had bought the farm, and she inherited the donkey. And he was about my age. He was about 33. I was 33 at the time. One of the things I would do is I would groom him on a regular basis. And, it was just, getting all the mats out and hair. And I would go out to his shed. And I remember this one time very distinctly where uh, he was always this real, I don't know if he was senile or in a meditative state, but I think that day he was in a meditative state because I was grooming him, and I got into a place where I was in a really deep meditative state, and I had access to um, energy and the ability to pick up on energy that I don't normally have. By the time I was done, I was so uh, blissed out, so still, that when the donkey walked away, he kind of walked into the field, and it was almost as though he's walking on the horizon, on the horizon line where you could see most of his body against the sky. I looked up, and I could see his aura, and I could see the colors, and I could see where the arthritis, these little red lines coming up off of his spine, where the arthritis was actually, um, you know, that's my interpretation, where there was actually like these energy spikes that were probably like pain, arthritis, those kinds of things. And that was a result of just being so aligned with this higher aspect of myself, because I had found myself in so much, put myself or synchronized maybe with the donkey's brainwaves, where I was in a pattern of stillness that opened me up to receive the promptings, the abilities that come from that higher aspect of me and my own perception. So I don't know if you all have had any of those kinds of experiences, but I'd love to know. Go ahead and put them in the chat. Some other ways that you know that you are working with your higher self. I think, Dorothy, you just said that you are, that uh, everything is exactly as it should be, and that's how you know that you're aligned and connected with your higher self. And that to me is so key. It's like, for me, I call that synchronicity. That's surrender, first of all, to things are exactly as they are and they should be, and I'm in the perfect place at the right time. And a lot of us, we tell ourselves that even when we're maybe not feeling so secure about that, but just knowing that. And then being when you're in that place of that surrender, it again opens you up to this higher aspect of yourself where synchronicities can come in and really show you what's going on behind the scenes that you can't see, like meeting that person that you've been wanting to make a contact with, or for me, I'm a line 3. I bumping into people where I had a question about something, and that person, that stranger, had the answer that I was looking for. Those kinds of things are clues to let you know that you're really working or. Am I back? Sorry about that. Hi, Keiko. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. All right, I'm on the hot spot, so I'm going to go quickly here. Um, yeah, this is what happens when you live in the country, I guess. That I don't really live in the country. We just have internet like we live in the country. Um, So another thing that you will experience when you're connected with your higher self is this sense of unconditional love, especially like unconditional self-love. And I think that goes back again to what you said, Dorothy, about the knowing that you're in alignment, that everything is in perfect order, and really surrendering to that and being at peace with that. Uh, yeah, and Keiko, you're saying that when you're working or connected with your higher self, when that wisdom comes out of nowhere. Yes, that wisdom of kind of like something comes out of your mouth, and you look behind you like who just said that, and it's actually you and your higher self who are in who are in cahoots and are communicating divine wisdom. So absolutely. And seeing beyond what's in front of you. And I think I already mentioned that, being able to kind of understand and see beyond what the storyline is of what you're experiencing or what someone else is experiencing. That's how you know that you sort of opened up into this expanded aspect of you. So here's how we experience. Well, let me tell you first how when I'm working with someone, what usually comes through visually, um, and in terms of like your higher self. And then I want to talk about how you can work with your higher self in a very palpable, real way. And then we'll go into some an experience of that. So what I normally see when I connect with someone and I'm doing like an intuitive reading or some channeling or working in the Akashic records is that I will see the higher self energy come down, and sometimes it comes down a lot of times. Sometimes the higher self appears differently, but most of the time it comes down like above the crown, and that energy just sort of spreads out around the person, and then of course begins to envelop the person and uh, permeate the person's other the physicality of the person. It's all very symbolic, obviously, but I see it as the energy that's sort of bigger than who we are, flesh and bones, and all of that, um, and it's kind of like the concept of the soul being inside the soul, as opposed to the concept of the soul being inside of us. Yes, there is an aspect of our soul that is inhabiting the body, but the soul is just so much bigger than this body that we can't possibly inhabit it all. So when you back up and you get a broader perspective, you can see or understand that you are nestled within your soul. And as the higher self, being that ambassador, that connection with your soul energy, with your soul consciousness, you can sort of see your higher self as that aspect that's bigger than this human experience, this human you that is in this body right now. So that's really great when we're talking about abstract concepts, and if you want to paint a picture or whatever, if you want to do some sort of an art project and sort of tap into your higher self that way. But there's a much more practical way to experience your higher self, and that's actually through your G center, through your heart center, through, where are my charts, through that diamond on in the center of your human design body graph, that's either yellow or white. That's the seat of your soul. That's the place where you experience love, identity, direction. And when you are aligned with your design, when you are in that place where you have deconditioned the so-called monkey mind, the mind, that the aspect of your thinking that has the mental anxiety, and you can allow your mind to be the passenger in your human journey, you naturally channel your higher self through your G center. It is the, in a sense, your inner GPS for your purpose, your direction, and it's if you're looking at like soul purpose, it's all in there, and it just naturally is. So your higher self naturally is that part of you that comes from this broader aspect of you that naturally is. And when it takes its place within the G center, the heart center in the seven chakra system, the heart chakra, it is the place where you can just settle and be. It's the home of I am. So what I want to do is just sort of take you all into your G centers. Let's do that. And what I want to also do along with that, because I'm really feeling like this sense of uh, this need to sort of channel through some of these messages that I'm starting to get. And I want to preface this by saying that I feel like what I'm doing here is just tuning into your streams of consciousness as they pertain in a general way to universal truth and all of that, and you know, uh, and perhaps even into the seat of your soul, into your G centers. And then I'm voicing what it is that you need to hear, whether you're here now, you're here later, whatever. I'm putting out that intention that we are in this quantum field, and you will hear what you need to hear by virtue of what I'm taking in and interpreting for you. And of course, you're going to get your own insights from this, your own shifts, your own reorganization and reworking. So go ahead and put your hands on your chest, like where the G center would approximately be in your chart. And then allow yourself to kind of lean back into your chair as a physical cue for your consciousness to sort of lean back into the back of your chest cavity, as though your consciousness, as though your awareness is resting against the front of your thoracic spine. I like to, what I always see when I'm doing this with myself, and this may help you visually, is I visualize reclining in a recliner and resting back, as though I'm resting and ready to see and experience the show, whatever the show is. Like, if I had a media room in my house, I'd have these recliners and we'd be sitting back eating popcorn, watching the big screen. That's how I see it. So just breathe and relax as you're reclining back in your G center space. And let's see what wants to come through. There's such big love, magnetic, magnificent, ever expanding love that you have the capacity to experience. And don't ever think for one moment that you are not eternally and infinitely loved by all of the forces of your universe in the reality that you have created through your human form. It may not seem that way, but do remember that this is a performance of experience, meaning that the role that you are playing in your body, in your geographical location, with the color of hair that you have, with all of your personality's preferences, are merely props and instruments and tools for you to create with. When you are tapped into and resting, relaxing into this knowing and acceptance of this great infinite love that is available to you, you become that love in your world. And it colors and recolors and softens the clay of what you are working with so that you can remold it into a more harmonious experience for yourself. So take a deep breath and allow yourself to rest even more openly into the receptive stance that allows you access to receiving the love that is here for you and the love that you are. So many of you forget that you are the source of the love that you experience. So many of you forget that you have an infinite source because you are a an a an inflection, um, uh, offshoot, an extension of the source, the true source, the infinite source, the infinite pool of love that created you and all of your many, many, many millions of experiences throughout all of your incarnations. And at this end point right now, where you are in this life that you are focused upon right now, you can open up to all of it. You can open up to the highest aspects of it, and you can bring that through you to retune your cells and your energy and fortify you in those times when others have forgotten that they too have their own source of love and they too are their own source of love. The strategy and authority of human design brings you into greater harmony with the love that you are. It brings you into a place of receptivity, greater receptivity and acceptance that you can just be, and that is enough. It puts you in alignment with the magnetic frequency of that which you intended before the inhabiting this body. And it enables you to attract the quality of love that you have the capacity to also contribute to your life and those around you, just from the place of being love, being you, being your I am presence in each now moment. When you are able to move into your higher self expression of love, your higher, broader expression of love, and consciously move it through your chest, through your heart, through your love mechanism, loving mechanism, then you can transform those things in your life, those relationships, because so many of you struggle with the resistance of relationships and the drama and the stories and the conflict and the uncertainty and the storylines of low self-esteem and trauma and all of the things that the trappings of the human struggle. When you are able to embody and harmonize the magnetism of love within yourself, you have the capacity to affect the higher selves of others in the same way, to to be a presence and a beacon of harmony within your relationships, to be a presence and a beacon of empowerment, to be a presence and a beacon of the wisdom that moves you out of the storylines, out of the drama, out of the conflict, and gives the others who are living that as well the opportunity to do the same. So be your light, be your love, and allow your higher self essence and presence to have a place to rest within your heart. And when you are experiencing and seeing the limited perspective of the physical human life and struggle and challenge, go back into the center of the powerhouse of your heart and relax and receive more of the love that you are and have access to. I'm feeling like a lot of tingling and a lot of just, I don't know, kind of like my own heart has been stretched a little in this little transmission. So I'm aware that I'm on a hot spot here with this connection, and I know that I really technology speaking, I really need to kind of move along off of the technology. But I hope and wish and really intend for you through that experience, our collective experience, really here as a circle, to have had a taste of a little bit of stretching in your own container for your higher self. Keiko, thank you. Yeah, very helpful. A wonderful gift. And you got a lot out of it. Fantastic. Yeah, in the second part of my healing workshop that's coming up, we're going to actually, I think, like I said, I don't know for sure, but I think that's where we're going. That's kind of what I've been guided to intend to do on that second part, is to really get us into this place of the higher self, and then into this place where we can communicate our own healing presence to the higher selves of those around us, because we all do have these challenges, and it's not just us. If you're feeling good inside of yourself, I'm sure there are people around you who are having all kinds of internal and external challenges that can look like job loss and divorce and parent-child issues, and there's just all kinds of stuff, because we're all working through our own stuff. And those of us who aren't on this path that we're on, can fall into the illusion that the storyline is actually all of the story, and we, as ones who have access to or an understanding of that energy sort of makes up the background, is the clay that we're creating with, know that there's more, and that we have access to more behind the scenes to work with, to shift our perspectives, and to be a person of influence who can shift the energy around us, so that everyone maybe can have a little bit, everyone can have a recliner in their G center to relax into, or have that opportunity to order a recliner and relax. So, yes. So I'm going to go ahead. We're coming up on the 45-minute mark here, and I know I'm using up a lot of bandwidth. So I am going to go ahead and just close us out for today. I will leave, as soon as I get off, I will leave that link to the 20% off for the workshop, the Activate Your Healing Powers workshop. And because the coupon code, if you got a coupon code for that, it doesn't work. So you have until Sunday at noon, October 31st at noon, to get your 20% off if you using this new link that I have. All right, so let's just go ahead and huddle up again in our virtual circle. And oh gosh. Okay, here's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing, remember how we set the pegs and set the space, and the ancestors came in and took seats around the wall on the inside of the space. Now they're standing up, standing ovation for us. So pat yourself on the back. Give them a little bow of acknowledgement, and allow yourself to be showered with the love and adoration from your ancestors. And so now what I see is, like, we're all standing up, we're all huddled up, and we all have guides, spiritual guides, helpers from the other side, and they're sort of huddled up in a circle around us on the outside, and then our ancestors are doing their standing ovation on the very outside. And now there's light moving in from the top of our circle, moving in from source, moving in from the healers, the light being healers that we've been working with in this container. And it's moving down, 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 right into the center of our huddle. And as it hits the ground, it just opens up, and explode is kind of a violent word, but you get my sense. It just expands through all of us. So breathe that in with gratitude. Breathe in all of that expanded light with gratitude. And with that, I'm asking that we all gather up our light. I'm expressing gratitude to each and every single one of you who is here now and who will be in the recording. Bowing to all of you, bowing to our guides, our ancestors, and to Source, and our higher selves, of course, as ambassadors of Source. And with that, we are pulling up the tent stakes of the south, the north, the east, and the west. Rolling up our tent until the next time. May you all be well and enlivened and elevated as you move into the next days, the next hours, the next minutes, weeks of your life and your human adventure. So blessings, everybody. And until the next time, I'm going to feel into this. I'm on a roll on these Fridays. So I'm going to feel into topics. If you have some topics of interest that you want to send me, I think you all have my email address, sandy@sandyfreshy.com. Send them over. I'm loving what we're creating here energetically. That's really fortifying and feeding us. And I'm feeling that our presence together is a healing presence upon the earth. And I very much value that. And I'd love to keep this going. May not be every Friday, but I'm going to feel into it. No promises. And you'll hear from me again soon. So take care. Yes, ego is a topic. We'll hash that one out. All right. Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend. Bye.